Big Sills! Well, it's finally here. No more BS. No more pontificating. And for some of you out there, because I know not everybody has the education Big Sills has, that means thinking. It's here, man. All the BS, all the guesswork, we're going to find out. We're going to go play 60. Let's go play 60. You bet, baby. Detroit, KC on Thursday. Eagles and Patriots on Sunday. Hey, before we start here, I do want to kick it off by doing this. Let me say something to you, man. I have never in my life, covering college football, being a top 25 voter, I have never in my life seen the college football game with so many great young quarterbacks. It's a damn shame the Pac-12's going away. Shedeur Sanders, I'm going to make this point to you. You're trying to tell me you think Caleb Williams is that much better than that kid? I'm not buying that. I don't think that kid at Southern Cal is that much better than that kid. And Travis Hunter, he's the best player in the country. He's the best player in the country. I've never seen anything like what I saw in that Colorado TCU game with one guy going 140 plays like that. I've never seen anything like it. He was the best player on the field offensively and defensively, who's the most elite guy I've seen. Unbelievable football. That kid could be the first player taken in the draft. He's a West Palm kid. I see what all the hype is about him. He was unbelievable. Shedeur Sanders was ungodly. He had a couple drops in the game. His first Power 5 game, he throws for over 500 yards. Shit, the kid from Duke last night taking apart Clemson. I mean, DJ, who left Clemson and now at Oregon State, he threw for 5 touchdowns or accounted for 5. Man. The kid Penix at Washington. There were a lot. FSU's got a superstar. By the way, Brian Kelly's the most overrated college football coach in the country. And he's at LSU, and you fired Ed Orgeron for that? Good luck to you. All right. I want to say this to all Philadelphia Eagle fans. And I'm going to do this as gently as I possibly can. If you tune on any of the radio shows in that respected market, this is what you got today. Hey, the New England Patriots O-line's banged up. Their right tackle's on IR. You know, the guards and everybody are hurt. And I'm like this. Don't buy into that. The fastest way to get your ass kicked is to have higher emotions going into the game and less respect for your opponent. Who gives a shit who New England lines up against you? Go play your game. Don't buy into that Belichick stuff. It sounds like Lou Holtz. Hey, I don't know how we're going to beat Miami. Yeah, Miami got all these superstar players. They're the best on the planet. We're banged up going in. Dumbest thing you can do. Dumbest thing you can do is listen to that bullshit. Well, their old line, you know, is a little... Who cares? Prepare against the Patriots. Because remember something. They got better coaches than you. Bill O'Brien actually owns a national title ring and a Super Bowl ring as a coordinator. Belichick has 8 Super Bowl rings. I wouldn't walk into that game leaving anything uncovered. And I'll also say this to you. You lost the Super Bowl because you got your asses out coached. So I wouldn't be going into a New England game saying this. Well, their old line's banged up. That has nothing to do with me. Take care of yourself. Okay? Take care of yourself. Don't worry about the shit that's going on in New England. Whoever they line up on Sunday against you, go play your best ability. Start reading your press clippings. Start hearing how great you are. I think you're going to have a little bit more of a struggle, and I do believe that's a fourth quarter football game. I don't give a shit what people say. You do not have the better coaching and special teams in that game. You have the better roster, yes. But they have better coaches, better special teams, and their defense might be better than yours. They were top 10. I think they were 9th, and they didn't lose anybody. They actually added Christian Gonzalez. I think their corners, they may not be as big as the Eagle corners. You really believe that you think you have better corners going into that game? We're going to find out again. No, Callie Green. I'm going to, here on a Tuesday, Callie Green just asked me, Sills, do you think we're losing? Let me get into that here in a minute. I'm going to get into this here in a minute. Eagles named 9 captains. Hurts, Slay, Jake Elliott, Devontae, AJ, Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox. I guess it's cool. I like one dude. And I'll make this point to you. Probably the whole team did that. You want to know the difference between the Eagles and other teams? I think it's cool. How about Jonathan Gannon coming out and naming Kyler Murray a captain? Since when do the coaches or a head coach have to name a player a captain? You usually leave that up to the 53 dudes in the room to vote for that guy. Not having to have your dad put the C on your shirt because you don't deserve it. You want to have it like the Eagles. We have so many leaders in our locker room. I can't just pick one. So the team picks these guys. That's great. Okay? That's great. In Arizona, Kyler Murray's dad picked him, and he's hurt. Talk about a turd move. Whew, man. Here, let me name my guy who's not even playing the captain of the team or one of the captains because he knows everybody in the locker room has no respect for him. You can't build respect for another man. That man has to earn respect with everyone in the locker room. You earn it. You're not given that. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, they've never been given anything. Kyler Murray's been given the title of captain. There just lays some of the difference between organizations. Got to have your dad pick you. And in a winning locker room like Philly, you got everybody in the room. No, it's Kelsey. No, it's Graham. No, it's Fletcher. No, it's Jalen. Mr. House Hunter. Mr. I wasn't ready for the Super Bowl. That guy's a Judas. Benedict Arnold, Judas, any one of those names you can use for Jonathan Gannon if I'm an Eagle fan. That guy's a Judas. That guy right there, again, Benedict Arnold, man. That's not something I want representing my organization. It's appropriate, too. He's on the shittiest team in the league. All right. So my takeaways early, Callie Green asked me, do I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this game? And obviously, as we go through the rest of the week, I'll give you more of my take as we get to Friday. But right now, why shouldn't you? You're coming off a Super Bowl appearance. You have the better offense. You have the better quarterback. I think your defense is overrated. Or no, I don't think it's overrated. I think it's overhyped. You haven't done anything. At least the guys in New England are bringing the same people back. And they finished 9th or 8th, whatever the ranking was. You lost five starters out of 11. Well, Carter's going to be good and Dean's going to be. That sounds great when we're talking about Disney films and fantasy and maybes and fortune telling. You got a better chance of hitting Powerball than predicting what an NFL career is going to look like. You understand this, right? Kobe Dean's going to be a star. Okay. We'll see. 34 snaps. And you're asking him with the green dot in there against Bill Belichick. And I'll say it one more time to you. You don't think that Jalen Reagor signing to the practice squad has anything to do with the fact that Jalen Reagor was on that football team until what? The first game of the year last year? You don't think he's got a playbook or understands the philosophy? They're not going to do much different this year than they did a year ago. Maybe more screens. You don't think Reagor knows? You don't think Reagor was around Brian Johnson? The particulars? Well, Patricia's on the other side. True. Well, Belichick had to go get him a stooge for the Eagles. This is gamesmanship this guy plays. Okay? Jalen Reagor is a spy. And he's making the Eagle guys go. You know what the Eagle guys have to do in the offense now? What could Reagor know that would be detrimental in the preparation of this football game coming up on Sunday? Common sense, you would ask that. Jalen, come in here for the defensive meetings if you can. And Bill's going to sit down along with Bill O'Brien. And they're all going to sit there and they're going to talk about philosophies. Because what have we been told this offseason? Eagles really aren't going to do much different schematically, defensively, and offensively going into this game. Do you know what the Eagles now have become? And do you know why this is going to be an interesting year for Philly? You become predictable on what you do. And I'm going to get to this here in a minute. Again, Callie Green asks the question, Sills, do you think we lose? No. I'll bury the lead. No. But what you don't want to do is make it a fourth quarter football game. I'll explain here in a second on that. Again, you don't want this to get into the fourth because special teams and coaching will play a factor. Like I said this before to people, you don't have to be a great coach in college football. You got to be a great coach in the NFL. Okay? You have to coach mistakes that you make in the draft. When you're at Alabama or Georgia, you just put the next guy in. Ask Jalen. You don't have to sit around and wait till we get in there. You don't have to coach those guys. Okay? Once you start paying them, you got to play them and you got to coach them. Okay? Belichick can't stop mobile quarterbacks. Have you seen Bill Belichick's record versus rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks and younger quarterbacks? I'm going to say this to you, too. I'm sorry. I disagree with people. Nick Sirianni's a cheerleader to me. I agree with Angelo. He's the most interchangeable guy on that entire Eagle organization. Ask Andy Reid, ask Doug Peterson, ask Chip Kelly, ask any one of those guys. It's about Howie. He picks the coaches. Nick tells you that himself. So, again, fourth quarter football game. Now, I'll say this to you. If the Eagles pop out on them and they jump out on them 21-7 and you're at halftime 21-7, that's going to be a pretty tough climb for them to get out of. That will be, because I don't think they have the offensive personnel. But what I do think they have is they got better running backs than you. The guy you're hoping DeAndre Swift is Stevenson. You hope he's that guy. 60 catches, 1,000 yards, 5 a carry. That's what you're hoping for, isn't it? Well, there the guy is. And you had Zeke. Zeke may not be Zeke of 4 years ago. I'll take him over Rashad Penny any damn day. You know why? At least that guy plays. At least he plays. I heard somebody earlier on our network say that Rashad Penny could get you 500 yards. Has he ever in 6 years done that? Maybe once? You understand he averages 57 carries a year. I pointed that out last week. And all of a sudden, magically, in Philly, he's going to put up 210 carries. Where would you come up with that? He's never had that in his entire 5-year NFL career. Dude, listen to myself. I'm not saying anything that's not true. What have I said? This is not opinion shit here. You actually think DeAndre Swift is better than Stevenson? When in his career has he done anything that kid has done? When? Show me. Don't tell me. Show me. Show me. You blow these guys up to make these guys seem better than what they are, and we don't do that here. You don't have one back in your backfield right now that has done the stuff that kid Stevenson has done. For that matter, Zeke. I don't think Zeke's the same player. Here's your advantages. Quarterback, O-line, wideouts. You think you have an advantage in defensive line? Do you think you have the advantage on D-line? Funny. The Patriots were better against the run than you last year. Funny. You think you're better? Well, they also got some double-digit sack guys. Kid Judon can play. The other kid on the other side, the D tackle with 7.5 sacks. Oh, you have a DT in Philly right now with 7.5 sacks coming off an NFL season? Do you? That'd be no. That'd be no. Tell me who you are, not what you think they're going to be. Remember something about potential. That means you haven't done it yet. Potential, Dean. Potential, Brown. Potential, Carter. Potential, Smith. All potential. It's good. I think they're athletic. Fletcher Cox at 6.5. Now let's do something that the Eagles have struggled on for the last, I don't know, let me see, 2 years, going on 3 now that I've covered you guys. Let me ask you a question here. Cox did not have 7.5 sacks last year. Who's your closer? Pat's O-line is what? I don't know. Eagles DTs are what? You don't know either. Let me throw this at you here. Who's your closer? Who's your closer on your team? Who do you close? Like, you know when Emmitt Smith used to close out Eagles, back then Redskins, Giants, Niners? Jalen Hurts is your closer. Really? Then how come last year you couldn't close teams out? And you always allowed teams to come back on you and you couldn't close teams out. Who's your closer? In 17, you had closers. Wasn't that a problem in the Super Bowl? You didn't have a closer. A couple 3-and-outs cost you and some bad special teams. Lost the Super Bowl to a lesser team. Who's your closer? Hurts? Okay. So you're assuming then that Jalen Hurts is going to be your running back as you close games out. And he's going to have to carry the load late in games to close games out. I'll tell you this, if I'm New England and that guy's doing that in the fourth quarter, I'm putting 10 hats on him. I'm going to tenderize that guy as much as I possibly can. I'm going to beat that guy up as much as I feasibly can if that guy's going to be the closer. Because you don't have a closer. And if it is the quarterback, that's a problem, like it was a year ago. Okay? Do I think Jalen can? Absolutely. My issue's not Jalen. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him in the run game. You can't rely on one of those running backs you have back. Kenneth Gainwell, Boston, these guys are dudes. Because if they were anything, they would have got more reps a year ago as how he was making the transition to try to get off of Miles Sanders. Instead of giving him 240 carries. Don't you get how people get transitioned out of any job? You don't wait to the next year. You start the process. Same thing with Dean. If Dean was so good, why didn't he take over for Kaiser Whitemore or Jay Edwards? Why didn't he start taking? He couldn't. Because you couldn't beat him out. Listen, 11 goes like this. Jesus, hang on here. What I'm doing here, you're missing my point. Dean was a rookie. Edwards was a UDFA. That means an undrafted free agent, which means you found him. You found him. And in the last 2 years, he's put up 300 tackles. 160 last year. There's not a chance in hell that kid puts 160 up this year. Now here, let me say this to you. Why do you think I have this attitude today? Because I don't want anyone here to go into this game against New England thinking this thing's going to be a cakewalk. It's week one. The unknown is there for both teams. You haven't done shit in the exhibition season. Okay, it's worked. You had 22 starters in the Super Bowl. I can't complain or bitch about that because the remedy has worked. Okay? The remedy has worked. It totally has. Someone just put, Calvin goes 31-17. Yes, Calvin, it could be that. I think your defense has given up 25 points. I do. You're not better on defense this year. You're not. Where do you think that? Where did you get better? And don't tell me the rookies. You don't know shit yet with them. By the end of the year, you'll be able to say this. Sills, this kid Carter, like you said, you called him the next Jerome Brown. Yeah, but I want to see him go out there and at least get on a football field and play a couple downs before we start crowning anybody. Dude, you cannot in any way whatsoever sit here and tell me anything about these rookie guys until you see him playing. Sidney Brown, they would attack him. And if he's on the field, New England's going to go right at him. He doesn't get guys on the ground yet. He spears guys. He's not the greatest form tackler, and he over-pursues. All the shit that you saw, great first game, but all the shit that you saw at Illinois kind of played itself out after that first game. And after what I saw the Browns do to Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, blow him off the ball in the first quarter with the third-team O-line, I want to see these guys play to run. Okay? That's it. James Jones is right. James, I don't think the Patriot offense is the issue here. I think they're going to take care of that. I think the Patriot defense could put that offense in limited fields and put them in a better position. Now, look, I think their corners are small. And to me, if I'm going to target anybody in this game on Sunday, I'm going after A.J. Brown and Goddard. Those are, I don't know if they have people that can cover those two dudes. They're physical. They're not that big at the cornerback position in New England. Now, again, are they going to bring exotic blitzes? And I would say this to you also about last year. If I'm not mistaken, I think I looked it up over the weekend. Tell me if I'm wrong here. I think the Eagles blitzed 9% of the time. That's normal when you're getting home with your front seven. That's normal. You don't have to blitz. If your front seven's getting home 70 sacks, you don't have to blitz. You don't have to go and be exotic in your blitz packages. Why in the world would I put my corners on an island with some safety blitz when I don't have to when my front seven's getting home? That you're playing high percentage defense when you do shit like that. Why would you do it? You wouldn't do that. That's why you didn't. As much as I can't stand Jonathan Gannon, okay? As much as I can't stand him, he didn't have to blitz, okay? Patriots won't score more than 17. Nobody on the planet in the NFL, according to personnel people, think your defense is that. I think they got him ranked somewhere around 17th. PFF's got him down there somewhere too. You guys are crazy. You've lost your entire triangle. Your middle linebacker, a guy who had 60 tackles and 11. And guess what they're doing in Philly now? They're downgrading Javon Hargrave. So you think that Jalen Carter's going to put up 60 tackles, 15 hits on the quarterback, 11 sacks in his rookie year? Okay, I want to see that. That'd be a great rookie year. Be a Corey Simon rookie year. Okay? Even though he's never had double-digit sacks in his entire professional career or collegiate career. All right. Once again, I'll say something to you about these Georgia guys. These Georgia guys do a lot of rotating down there, and you don't really see a lot of production out of them. I mean, like I told you before, 9 sacks in 45 games for Jordan Davis. It's not a lot of production. It's not a lot of production. Now, they do a ton of rotating. They got guys down there right now that are going to go in the first round. So you kind of give them the wall pass and the hall pass on that. Okay? And let's not forget something, too. Your great corners, Juju Smith-Schuster beat the shit out of you in the Super Bowl. Juju Smith-Schuster and a crew of nobodies beat you. Yeah, it was Mahomes. Okay, so Mahomes made Juju Smith-Schuster better than anything you played against all year. And that includes Justin Jefferson. Okay, I got it. And by the way, do I think Mac Jones will be one of the better quarterbacks that the Eagles have played against in the last 2 years? You understand this? There's no Davis Mills. There's no Davis Mills here and rookie quarterbacks like Kenny Pickett. Let's not forget something. His first year, he did go to the Pro Bowl. I actually like Mac. You're coached by Saban and Belichick. That can't be too easy. And personally, I really don't care what some of you are saying right now, because most of you sit in the stands sucking on corn dogs. Doesn't matter to me. Okay? Doesn't matter to me. What I'm telling you is, you go into that football game listening to bullshit about, well, they're old lines. You'll get beat. You'll get beat. T goes like this. Stop doubting our team. Doubting? I'm the one that said you were going to the Super Bowl. Do you understand where you guys are right now? If you were in the process, and see, listen, maybe what I got to do is explain it a little better here. I'm not talking to you angry. I'm talking to you with a sense of urgency. You have an opportunity because you're close. If we're the Cardinals or the Colts, you think I'm talking like this? No. You're years away from being competitive. You're here. You need to take full advantage of what you're looking at. And you have to understand, again, where you are. Okay? Chris, that's right. Chris, the unknown on defense is the key. Remember something last year. All veteran leadership and all veteran guys. There's a ton of inexperience and unknown this year. And for anyone to just go like this, well, we'll be the Eagles of last year. Not remotely close. You will not be remotely close. Okay? Fans can say whatever the hell they want. It doesn't matter. It's the players who need to take this serious. I believe Jalen too. Big D. Jalen has his team ready to go. He's a leader and he's hungry. I completely agree with all that. Hurts is not the issue. Have you heard me say anything about Jalen? Absolutely not. Okay? Absolutely not. Hey, Sway. Sway goes, Juju had 7 receptions for 53 yards in the Super Bowl. And then he happened to slip that baby on after he beat you. Congratulations to you. Those 53 yards were part of why they won. You think that was a statistical thing? Remember something. Against the Chiefs, you haven't proven to me you could beat that team yet. They went into your barn, beat your ass, running the ball for 238, and then they beat you in the Super Bowl. You're 0-2. Yeah, but Jalen's got better stats. Love those participation ribbons, don't you? Keep hanging them around your neck. Jalen's a better quarterback than Mahomes. Why is Mahomes 2-0 against you? Sills will say anything? No, I'm not saying anything. What have I said to you that's not true? What? I haven't heard you say a decent take yet. Which what? Which one didn't you like? Which one didn't you? You love stats? No, I love wins. You said he killed us. He did. You see your DBs running into one another in the fourth quarter? It looked like the Keystone Cops. Between what Reed and Mahomes were doing and watching Slay and Bradbury and those guys running into one another, it was comical. Go back and watch the fourth quarter. You really want to get a good laugh? You'll think Carson Wentz is playing back there in the secondary. Dan, let's see here. Gannon beat us? Oh, okay. Must have been not the players on the field. Anyway, I'm not getting into that BS. I say this to you here on a Tuesday. How are you using Jalen Hurts in the run game? Let's do this. How many people believe that the Eagles have a great running attack without Jalen Hurts? I guarantee you Jalen has the most carries in this game against New England. I bet you he has 18 carries. 18 carries. I'll bet you anything. He has 18 carries in that game. That's not the way I want to open the season. Now, again, I'm under the umbrella with Dick Vermeil that I don't want to take it away from the kid, but you didn't upgrade that position. You're trying to redefine it by getting a screen game going, which was non-existent a year ago. Stop excluding quarterback runs. Dude, there's a better chance that Jalen Hurts will lead the NFL in rushing yards than passing yards. You're under some sort of craziness about what you have. Am I wrong? Hey, I'm sure that someone will go, that's not true. There's a better chance he'll lead the NFL in rushing yards this year than passing yards. I've never seen actually a quarterback throw for under 4K with 2,000-yard receivers. Shit, even Geno, beat up Geno threw for 4,500 yards. What about the rushing? I know. That's what I'm saying to you. Okay? That's what I'm saying. 4K bucket. Again, you're going down that lane? All right. So you're under the impression, right, Arthur, that Jalen's playing all 17 games. Well, so far he hasn't played a season yet. But you're under the guise that he's going to play every game. Last 2 years he started, he's never finished the season playing every game. At least Josh Allen does. You know what's crazy? I hear people on here all the time telling me how great your quarterback is over Josh Allen. And we've talked about this before. How can you be better than Josh Allen when Josh Allen was 13-3 last year? A stupid play by him against the Vikings that cost him home field, or he would have went 14-3 or 14-2 because I didn't play that other game against Cincinnati. And you guys say he made a step backwards? So a guy who was 13-3 made a step backwards. Interesting. What happens when he cleans it up and he plays better? He's undefeated in the AFC? Jalen plays in the JV. Allen plays in the varsity level. Okay? And he plays every game. That kid is a talent. Okay? You're damn right, Arthur, you got a tougher schedule. This year, 2023 is going to define Jalen Hurts. You bet your backside it is. You're not playing stiffs in the 31st ranked schedule. You're playing the number one. You may actually be a better football team this year, but with a lesser record. You ask some jackass Eagle fans, they still think they're winning 14 ball games with that schedule. You are not. You'll be lucky to have 11 wins. And that's not going to be good enough to get home field. But I do think you get to the NFC title game. That's my expectations. I do think the Eagles get to the NFC title game. I do. I do not believe, though, you're going to have home field because the 49ers and the Saints play lesser teams. Look at the Saints' schedule. They play nobody. It's the worst schedule in the league. And they're good. They're actually probably an Eagle version of last year. Okay? Look at Luffy goes like this. He says that the AFC has no defense. Really? What was that thing I saw in the Super Bowl? The 18th ranked defense beat the Eagles. They were 18th or 19th. You were like 1-2. They had the best offense and one of the worst defenses. What does that mean? Did that matter? LJ goes, Josh Allen chokes. This is what guys, when they hear me talking, they say Josh Allen chokes. Against who? Lamar Jackson? Joe Burrow? Patrick Mahomes? Trevor Lawrence? Russell Wilson? Who do you think Jalen plays in the NFC? Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, Prescott? What are you talking about? How do you winning the AFC? I'll make this point to you, Xander and everybody. I think winning the AFC this year is tougher than winning a Super Bowl. You got to go through Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and now Trevor. And you got to go through all those guys? Who are you going through in the NFC? Brock Purdy and who? Brock Purdy, I'll make this point to you. By the way, I got my first week of my power rankings for the NFL. I look at Brock Purdy and I'll say this to you. Look, if this year is going to define Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy hasn't been defined yet. And finally, San Francisco did something that they have been messing around with. Hey, I'll tell you this too. The Eagles are so far ahead of San Francisco in this aspect. They don't experiment like that overrated coach Kyle Shanahan does. They relented a Super Bowl roster with this so-called experiment in the Trey one-play Trey. I told you he sucked from day one. I mean, if you're looking for a high hurdler, he's probably really he's got a better chance of being in the Olympics in the high hurdles than he does playing quarterback in National Football League. Okay? Okay? So, again, my point to you on Sunday, take care of business early. Take care of business early. Can they? Get up on these guys, man. Get up on them. Put up 14 on them. 14-play drive. Can't have 3 and outs early. Because what you're trying to do is not put your defense in a position to play and you can't give New England half fields. If we don't control the line of possession, time of possession, and keep their offense off the field, it can go either way. Bear, that's exactly what I'm saying right now to you. Absolutely. Here. If you get a couple 3 and outs on offense, your defense is not ready yet. Will it be ready by week 8? Probably. Carter will have established himself a little better. I'll make this point to you. How about Nick Sirianni not saying who was going to start in the defensive tackle position? That means that, in my opinion, Jalen Carter's starting. So last year you drafted a guy 13th, and he's now going to be a swing guy in Jordan Davis. Got a problem with that? Do you have a problem with the guy you took 13th who's now going to be the rotation guy? Yeah, no. So Jordan Davis is not an every down. If that guy doesn't start and open as a starter in New England, I don't know. Element of surprise? Okay. Yeah, because I'm sure Belichick will be surprised. We should ask the NFL to give us a hard schedule every year. It'll make us better. NFC's a dump at this point. You know, death row, I think it makes you more prepared to go into big games. See, NFL is not like college football. Remember the year that the Patriots had the undefeated season? They lost to a 10-6 New England Giants team. And I think it was because they got beat in that final regular season game against the Patriots. They saw what their opponent was, and it prepared them for their game tempo. I think that game that the Giants lost in the final regular season game that year won the Super Bowl for them. They saw everything they needed to know, and they saw everything they needed to do. And then they won. You bet. Playing turds in tomato cans doesn't prepare you for games that you have to win. Okay? Why do you think when the SEC gets into these games like Texas, they're going to kill Texas, Alabama, in Tuscaloosa? So you think that Longhorn team is going to go to Tuscaloosa and beat them? Never happened. Never happened. Never happened. Never happened. Teams that play in the light shine in the light. Teams that play tomato cans, when they play those big games, they get beat by the good teams. And then really in the last 2 years, every time the Eagles have played against a good quarterback or good teams, they get beat. And now they got a bunch of them. Little beast, I am so looking forward to this. I cannot wait. And by the way, what's wrong with getting to the NFC title game if you're 11-6? Who cares? What's the record have anything to do with what kind of team you are? I don't want to, hey, I don't think you don't want to look shitty in September. But I mean, I don't give a shit what my team looks like in September. I care what they look like in November, December, January, and February. Who cares? Dude, the NFL is not college. It's not based on your record on who the best team. Here. If a team wins 14 games in the NFL and another team wins 10 games, are you here telling me that you think the team that won 14 games is a better team? How do you know the other team that played and won 10 games didn't have the number one ranked schedule in the country or the number one ranked power schedule in the NFL? Dude, if I've got to play teams, I'll tell you this is AFC East this year. You got to go through Tua, Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Mac Jones. And you'll go Mac Jones. No, I'm talking about the collective group. Who's in the NFC East? Dak, Jalen, Sam Howell, and Daniel Jones. Sorry, the AFC East has better quarterbacks. Look at the AFC West. Mahomes, Herbert, Russell Wilson. I mean, Garoppolo, who's beaten you too. Okay? And again, listen, the cool thing about the Eagles, and I'll say this one more time on what they did last year. You see all the shit that I'm saying right now? I'll tell you the one thing. See, they don't think like you. They think like me. Remember that. The Eagles don't think like you, where you're just going to roll into a place, throw your helmet on the field, and people are going to run into the stands. They don't think like you. They think like me. Because I'll tell you why I know they think like me. They had the shittiest schedule in the National Football League last year. But I'll tell you one thing they did, and I was impressed with. They never played down to their competition one time. They showed up for a fist fight. Hey, I'll make this point to you. Look at Kansas City. They didn't show up to that Colts fight. They got beat by the Colts last year. Eagles, didn't matter what the emblem on the helmet said. They showed up to every fight. And they fought every single opponent. That's never playing down to your competition. Do you understand? That's what I'm talking about. When I hear people saying, well, the Patriots' O-line's banged up. Don't play down to your competition when you hear shit like that. Play who you are and your identity. Play to what you are. Not giving a shit. Who cares what New England throws at you when it comes to personnel? You got to go play and beat them. Okay? Colts also beat the Our O-line is fine. It's tactics. We didn't show up against Washington. Turnovers in that game, Joseph, kind of. Why won't we do that again this year, Dan? Brian, I believe they will. Where did I say they wouldn't? I'm not talking to the Eagle players. I'm talking to you. The Eagle guys are thinking me like I am right now, not like you guys. Oh, we're going to roll in there and beat the. They're not thinking that. They got to take care of themselves. Take care of what they're being coached to do. Looking at tendencies and trends. Looking at weaknesses and strengths that we can exploit. What's the one area you think that the Eagles can exploit come Sunday? I'm curious. Okay? What's the one area do you think you can exploit? Luffy goes, the Patriots right tackle isn't playing for. I don't give a shit. I saw Jason Peters not playing a Super Bowl. Did it matter to you? You put some backup dude in, did you not? This shows you how dumb some of this shit is sometimes. So you lose Jason Peters, you put a guy in, you have another backup guy in the Super Bowl, and you guys win the game without Jason Peters. Try applying some of the shit that you worked with. You don't have better coaching than the guys in New England. You don't. Don't you think they know this? The Patriots don't have Stoutland. No, but they had McKittrick, and they have McKittrick's protege up there as their O-line coach. McKittrick was the best O-line coach in National Football League. You know how I know that? He's got 6 answers to it. This guy's got a handful of rings. That's how I know. Okay? That's how I know. What's the one area you can exploit? Hey, Rolling goes, do the Patriots even have a wide receiver? Did the Kansas City Chiefs? Oh, wait, that same guy's there. Interesting. That's pretty funny. So you get a good look at Juju Smith-Schuster again, don't you? Interesting. Juju Smith-Schuster, again, 53 yards, 7 catches. All right. So you get a good look. Run game? I don't know. Maybe. Jalen? Probably. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Patriots will continue to run up the middle to test conditioning of Jordan Davis. That's if he starts. Also, they will have to take the time of possession from Philly. That's right. You got to keep Jalen on the sidelines. So you got to run the ball. This is where I think the game plan for – here's the game plan I would think for New England. I want to win the coin toss. I don't want to defer. I do not want the Eagles to go on a 14-play opening series drive on me. I want to get the ball. Okay? Because this thing could be over by halftime if the Eagles get up on them 21-7. I can't have that. And how you make a fourth quarter game, I'm not deferring shit. You have to at least – your first series, if you're New England, you can't be stopped inside your 20 or 35-yard line and then punt. You can't. Now, I'm going to be expecting to make plays on your special teams because where they can exploit the Eagles, your special teams is the worst unit in the league. Okay? So I'm assuming – have you guys even named a punter yet? I've never seen anything like it. Have you named a punter? Do you have a punter yet? I mean, Are you just going to call a guy Friday and go, hey, you want to come kick? I mean, have you named a guy? One of the most important players on your team when it comes to field position. Is there a dude on the team yet? So wait a minute. Let me get this right. It's Tuesday and you don't have a punter? Interesting. Boy, I'll tell you what, man. I like how the Eagles take their special teams. They don't. Nope. So you have how about this? I'll concede on this. It's not questionable defense. Uncertain because we don't know yet. And so what you're going to do then is, with all the question marks on defense, you don't have a quality kicker. Are they bringing Sipos back? Right now, that's probably your best option. We're kind of late in the week here. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I mean, you're going to travel Saturday? No, you'll travel Saturday. You get up to New England on Saturday. I mean, I would think so, Josh. I think Sipos has got to come back, right? It's got to come back, I would think. Right? I mean, look, I don't think he's good, but I mean, what am I going to, unless you're bringing Matt Ariza in, and I doubt they're doing that. Okay? So probably, okay, anyway, this is where I think New England's going to come at them. They're going to run the ball. You're going to want the ball early. You got to keep. Here, most of the time, Jalen Hurts in that offense averages about, what will we say, 65 plays a game. So you're talking about 32, 33 plays in the first half, correct? As an average. So that comes down to probably 4 series or 5 series. You got to limit them 4 or less if New England wins this game. Look, what film from last year, Big Sills for punter. Thank you, Death Bro. What film do you think they're going to watch to prepare for the Eagles? What film do you think that they've dissected? What film? (2011) No. Commanders. Correct, Luffy. Some of the Super Bowl, because you're going to look at the last 3 games, too, that they played. Washington. Very good, Edge. And why? If you go back to that Washington game, did anybody have like giant numbers from Washington? Like, did Heineke throw for a lot of yards? I don't remember that. Did Antonio Gibson? This is obviously the win I'm talking. Did they put up? Did Terry McLaurin put up big numbers in that game? I don't remember. I don't remember like really huge numbers like in that game. Now, did Washington run the ball? Wasn't it Washington ran the ball and there were turnovers in that game? Right? Wasn't that like how because I remember I was looking at that game the other day and I was looking, what game film do you think he's probably dissecting? A defensive-minded guy in Ron Rivera. Ron's a really good-minded guy. Plus, they have Del Rio in the staff. And I'm thinking they probably have to go back to that Washington game. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so they probably go to that Washington game. And I remember that Washington. I'm like, man, I don't remember anybody having a game against the Eagles, though, in that game. The Eagles took them apart in that game 1. And in game 2 was kind of like a hokey game. Turnovers, field position, special teams played a big role in that game. Yeah, Steven, that was probably it too. The game plan was a little bit chaotic. didn't seem to have a rhythm in that thing. Okay, right? Gannon had a bad game, probably so. 4 Eagle turnovers and 200 yards rushing from the Commanders. There you go. That's the hey, Umberto just put it out there. That's right there. Right there. Xander, 4 Eagle turnovers, 200 yards rushing. You see that right there, what Umberto said? Patriots have to get that to win. They have to get that to win. I think you have to run for 200 yards because the clock, okay? I think you have to have 200 yards and at least 3-4 turnovers to be in that football game. I actually think I love how everybody goes like this. Washington's not that good. Well, shit, man. For a team that wasn't very good, they did go 8-1 with that chaotic mess with Daniel Snyder. You won in spite of the shitty owner. I don't know, man. And I actually like this guy, Sam Howell. I think Washington, Green Bay, teams like that might be some sleeper teams there. I'm not as down on Jordan Love as I was before. He might be something. I don't know yet. Okay? They had the ball for 45 minutes and kept it out of Jalen's hands. That's the key. Hey, Dirty D, do I think they'll do that? I don't know what your defense is going to look like. Look, I got my power rankings, my first week power rankings. Look, before we take a time out here, I want you to know something. You're so close. This is not a shit session. But don't go into any football game thinking that what the opponent has, what they're doing, what their personnel looks like. Nobody cares. Take care of business. That's what that team was known for. That's the identity of the Philadelphia Eagles. If I had to put an identity on them, they take care of their own business, man. They never play up and down to their competition. It's a well-structured locker room. Okay? Disrespectful, I can't tell. You know why? Because you've never been spoken the truth to. Hey, want to tell you this, man, as we get into football season here. The football season, Hooters, this is your football headquarters, and we are so proud to have the National Football Show with the official home with Hooters. Hey, man, we're going to be doing so much with our friends at King of Prussia, plus the 7 locations in the Northeast area. Go to northeasthooters.com to find one of those locations. It's the 40th anniversary, and we've been pretty much involved in every single one of those years, going all the way back to when I was with the Buccaneers. And I'm telling you, man, the iconic Hooter girls are going to be there to serve you. All your friends, man, what a great place. The official home of Eagle fans is Hooters, King of Prussia, plus the 7 locations. I'm telling you, man, you're going to be able to go. And if you want to do this, say you don't want to go to Hooters, you can also go to hooterstogo.com. That's right, man. Hooterstogo.com. All you got to do is just log on there, man, and order right there online. Get your grub. Love it, man. The specials they have Tuesdays, buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, $19.83. That's right, all you can eat. And then on Saturdays, kids eat for free. NortheastHooters.com. Make sure you go to them. You'll understand what I've been talking about for all these years. Everyone will enjoy themselves. We're so proud to be part of it. By the way, we're going to be doing giveaways this Friday on gift certificates and merch. Be prepared for that, for everyone to enjoy them when they go into Hooters. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.